Me, as always, to my left, way over there, is Jason.
Hello, everyone.
And we're here to do a short episode about something that, well, I don't know what to say about it. It's just I guess it's on the zeitgeist of popularity right now, and that would be WandaVision, the Disney Plus streaming show. And if you have not finished it, then turn this off and go away, because we are going to spoil it for you. That makes sense. That seems fair.
I think so.
I don't know about you, Jason, but I got to be honest with you. I had zero interest in this program. None. I've had a happy divorce from the Marvel movies. I'm very satisfied with the ending of it. I thought, this is fine. This is a good place to jump off now.
Yes.
And I thought all Marvel product now will be unnecessary. It was a very kind of like Ron Swanson-y way of thinking of it. And the only reason I jumped into WandaVision was boredom and other people saying it's pretty good. So I think I jumped in when it had 3 episodes in the hopper.
That's a good way.
That was a good way because, the first episode is a little bit of a high concept. And then, it starts to build the suspense. And I personally ended up kind of being hooked to it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you started the show that way, actually, because we disagree slightly on the whole MCU thing, where I'm like, do it right, give me the rest of my life, either the TV thing, whatever. What I think is brilliant about what they did, now that the dust has kind of settled, is that very thing where they went, we're kind of getting that there's resistance now. We hit a high mark with the movies or whatever. We're going to kind of calm down. Meanwhile, we're going to do this stuff. And then they end up making something, this good, something this interesting. But I want to say, at the risk of sounding like, disgruntled or whatever, this is such a when this thing kicked off, it's such a great example of a facet of fandom or geekdom or nerddom, whatever you want to call it, that I don't have time for. And it was like this instant, where's it going? And the internet, constant, and and it's this like, hey, here's an idea. Everybody just relax. And if you don't want to watch it every week, stack it up or whatever. But let's see where something's going to go. Like the way I figured, like if you don't know what this thing was going to be, and I think everybody kind of barely knew what this might be when it sort of happened from the trailer and everything. You're 2 episodes in, you still don't really know what's going on. But there's enough imagination and chutzpah and whatever you want to call it in the thing that you think you just go, okay, this is, there are so many shows, there's so much stuff out there, and there are so many shows that I will hear something good about, or I'll read about and think, okay, this sounds really interesting, and then I'm 1 episode in and it's just bad, or it's just not doing it, and I'll go, you know what, I'm gonna give it one more, see what I might do 3, and then go, this is going nowhere. Like I can no longer say, I want to see what the turn is. I'm going to sit through the next 10 or whatever, because there's too much other stuff to see. So my thing is, like, even if you didn't know where this was going to go, those first few episodes are like, they're doing something I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Isn't it wonderful to have something that you don't know where this is going? You don't know what it is. It's in good hands because you've gotten, X amount of quality, whatever you want to call it, for so many years, but you really don't know where it's going to go. And I just, all the social media stuff about, it's this and that, I'm going to one more and I'm done. It's like, how could you not be at least intrigued to know where this thing might end up, or just enjoy the performances? Paul Bettany to me is like just on fire. Like every moment he's on screen, I just think he's Vision's one of my favorite Marvel characters ever since I was a kid.
I barely know anything about him. I thought he looked cool as a kid, but I've never really been a huge, like, I'm not into the lore. Mm-hmm. So I had no idea where this was going. I'd heard rumors of people saying stuff like, I knew that she had made reality at some point, but I didn't, like, it really was kind of like, I have no idea what's going to happen here or what the characters' backstories really are. But it was not by the numbers. Right. My wife will watch something on TV and I'll sit there and watch it with her and I'll be like, oh no, and she go, oh, it's totally by the numbers. It's just, this is what it is. And I'll walk away. I'm not a big series television guy. I'm quite, somebody posted like 100 on Facebook, 100 different TV shows. And what did you get out of it? I got like 17 of, TV shows I'd watch more than 5 episodes of. And it's like, wow, I really don't care much for scripted drama. But I just enjoyed the idea that this was something very unusual. And as it kept progressing, I realized there's going to be kind of a fun payoff. And one of the weirdest complaints I heard from my peers, and a couple of them said this, was like, oh, I just hate that I have to wait every week. Like we always did all our lives. That was like, oh no.
Or even
I liked that.
Even the again, everybody's mileage might vary through the MCU or whatever, but even the waiting between films, for me it was, are they going to stick to certain storylines? Will they go whatever? You know what? I'm enjoying the journey, and I don't need to know where this all pays off or how it does, because that's part of the like you say, the zeitgeist thing, where everybody's, this was a show, once again, that I sort of had to warn a couple friends, like, just don't, if you want to text me and ask if I've seen it, that's fine, but don't don't say anything until I've seen it, because there's so little that we get to have that enjoyment out of, I think, these days. And they managed to do it with 2 shows. They managed to do something pretty spectacular. Of course, it's not on the level of what they did at the end of season 2 for Mandalorian. That was like earth-shattering. But they still managed to do something that, first of all, it really is an incredible, it really is all about grief.
Yeah, and that's really the other thing. It's kind of got a really grown up. It isn't just big superhero duke out battle. Yeah, it is actually a story about loss and accepting pain, and there's some folks who hated it that I kind of like think less of now, because it's like, it can't always be 2 guys punch each other.
Sometimes the Enterprise crew has to go back in time and save whales.
Yeah, that's
that's
an odd example. But I get what you're saying.
There you go, something you go, well, how is this whatever? And you go, well, there's no ships, there's no, there's not a big laser battle, or there's no weird, and it works in a different way. It's like, just, they're trying something different each time somebody tries something a little different, which this clearly was going to be from the outset. I think each of these shows are going to be very, very different from each other.
And it looks like it's going to build towards a film again, which is interesting, because I wonder, like, are people that don't watch WandaVision going to be lost when they see the new Doctor Strange film, which I think she's a part of?
Yes, she is. She is. But that's where I go, wow, they've really got a plan here. They did what they did for a decade with the stuff. Now they go, let's do this. And what a amazing achievement to go, now this is the next must-see thing that everybody can sort of be a part of, and it may build toward cross sections of shows, or whatever it is. But one of the things I always give them credit for, the MCU credit for, I don't think, yes, there are fights, and yes, there are whatever, but there's a lot of the MCU that are very different movies from each other. Ragnarok is completely different than the first Thor. Winter Soldier is completely different than the original Captain America. The Iron Man 1, 2 is in it, but 3 is bonkers. I mean, 3 did something that upset millions of Marvel fans and stuff. Like they're each time they sort of go, let's try something a little bit different here, or let's do, most of the time they've been able to do that, and I feel like that's what they're going to do with these shows. They're going to be 3 very different
I'm looking
stories
forward
being
to
told.
seeing what they do next. It did kind of like, hey, this was not the usual thing. And my wife is like upset, like that it's over. And I'm like, it's okay that it's over. It was good. I don't need a second season of this.
Because it is, isn't it? Like they're not going to do. It is what it is, right?
I think it's over. I would imagine it is, unless, of course, they did leave some doors open, I guess, in terms of Vision like having a new life, and obviously they didn't kill Agatha, so again, this is spoiler filled.
Well, that's the other thing I'd say too. In Marvel, I would say one of the things I don't think it gets enough credit for is the emotional impact in a lot of the films, in the journeys of some of these characters, and the things that can really. There's a way to do it well. There's a way to do it that's totally manipulative, that you see coming but you dig anyway, and there's a way to do it badly. And when they build X number of movies to finally hear Cap say "Avengers Assemble," and it is this climax of a movie, of a franchise that just mind blowing.
Yeah, it feels validating.
Validating, exactly. There are a couple of moments in this show that I think elevate it to something else, to something where it's like, anybody that goes into it thinking it's going to be, your typical, zapping people and flying around, whatever. Okay, well, now but there's something more going on here. And one of them is the scene, I think a couple episodes ago, when she has a flashback. Maybe it was the last one, I forget. They're looking at her life, and it's her in Avengers, the Avengers compound. And after the brother dies, and Vision says something about, what is grief if not proof of love, or something.
Yeah.
It was so exquisitely,
excellently written piece.
So beautifully written. And then the scene between the two Visions.
Yeah.
Talking about the Theseus and rebuilding the boat. You're just watching it going, oh my God, like that's one of the best scenes in the entire universe of Marvel so far. Like,
because it diverted your expectations to
a
more believable, I guess, conclusion, in the fact that they might just use logic and reason against each other.
It just was just beautifully written. That whole scene between the two of them was just like, and it's a nod to the character. It's a nod to the logic through of him in the comic, and it's a nod to the end of Age of Ultron, when he's still talking. Ultron was a child that morning, and then becomes this other thing, and he has this sort of philosophical conversation at the end of Age of Ultron, and it's like just beautiful. I just thought that was
also, I want to point out that like the entire fan community was kind of expecting, because I think Bettany was kind of being cheaky.
Yes,
he was saying, I'm working with an actor that I've been so pleased. And I thought, God, that's funny.
And they were pissed.
They were
really pissed off.
They really expected Stephen Strange to come in like a Deus Ex Machina, like Russell T Davies wrote this, and save the day. And speaking with my wife about it, who she got really turned on to the show, that she said to me, she's like, I'm so glad that didn't happen, because that would have like ruined it for me. And it's like, it's like, for me, it wouldn't have been the same impact as her, but my impact would be, this is just sloppy writing. To have a character who hasn't been telegraphed.
Right. It's manipulated.
And that was one of my huge problems with the Captain Marvel movie, was that it was like shoehorned in at the very last minute of a franchise. as opposed to have been planted like 2-3 years ago. Like
I
I had a
still
real
haven't figured that movie out.
yeah, I
Haven't
still
figured out.
for me it's the timing of it. It's just like,
Yeah.
no, this feels wrong. But I do really kind of appreciate that the ending is basically, Wanda sorting her life at the end, and
Right.
that's fantastic. And of course it does lay some major Easter eggs for future movies. And
Well, one of the other beefs that, it's like, again, I sound like, I think probably a curmudgeon at this point to say, why can't people just enjoy shit? Like 1
sorry, I
minute
gotta
they're
button up my cardigan. What?
by the way, get those kids off my lawn.
Yeah.
What's going on?
That's
Why
not what you did there.
one minute everybody's, chins are on the floor because the other Pietro shows up, which was brilliant, by the way.
Really smooth move.
And as much as I have a crush on Kat Dennings and yet don't like her.
Oh, I love her.
No, but no, I shouldn't say that. If she's listening, Kat, you're my favorite actor, person, everything, ever. But her line was perfect by saying she recast Pietro.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a great little wink and such a meta joke, etc. Now, everyone's freaking out, and then all the theories start up, for weeks. Like, oh, it's going to be this, and is it going to be this? A little bit way, a little bit whoa. Then you get to the end, and then everybody's pissed off that it was a tease and there wasn't something. To which I go, okay, A, okay, whatever, and B, how do you know? Like, they're comic book movies. Like, they could still come back to that a year down the road, and somehow it can be some weird signal that came through from somewhere that made her put that face on that, whatever. It could still be connected to the X movies, the Fox X movies. But everybody's like miffed that it wasn't what they thought it was going to be, or, whatever. I find that kind of
yeah. There's some great article, and I can't remember where I read it because the internet's a blur, that said WandaVision didn't deliver on the things it didn't promise me, or something like that. Like it,
yes!
And it's just like, yeah, no one, like, I wasn't expecting Reed Richards to pop up at the end of this. That would have been amazing, but it just, as it wound along, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Well, it didn't, like it's not one of those things that you go, do you know what I mean? Like, if you go into Captain America: The Winter Soldier,
mm-hmm.
I'm guessing at some point the Winter Soldier might show up.
Yeah.
So if you're going into WandaVision and you have no idea what this thing is, what expectations? What are you? It's a blank slate. I mean, all you know is the history of the character, But I thought it was really, not to sound too hoity-toity, but it really was a great, exercise in grief and what people, how people process stuff, and made her much more compelling, I think, than she's ever been. And you really get the feel for the life that she's had, but also really, really gave her weight. Like, this is a scary, powerful.
The character's definitely kind of become more of a heavyweight in the Marvel universe, which was something that, before, I think they had her kind of somewhat limited in her powers. I think enjoyed that.
Wasn't the thing that, and I could be wrong about this, so get your pens ready. Get your notebooks out. Wasn't the thing that Pietro, they could not be called Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in the MCU because those names belong to Fox, and they also could not use the word mutant. They were
couldn't use the word mutant, but from what I understand, and they didn't give them mutant origins, but from what I understand, and this is the magic of comics continuity, there are several, and correct me if I'm wrong, fans of comics, but there are several origin stories for those characters.
Yes.
Where they're the kids of Magneto, and then they're not the kids of Magneto. And
right.
So I don't think that's really a problem. And again, you get to retell all this stuff.
But I think that was an issue
when you're making a film.
with the licensing, I thought
There was a shared because I think that those characters were both in the Avengers and the X-Men. There was sort of this shared continuity.
Okay.
So they were both allowed to use them, but yeah, I think the killing off of Pietro was, and I'm not an expert on this.
Well, but Catherine Hahn, who by the way was the star of a lot of the Chrysler Pacifica commercials that I did the voice.
Yeah, that's right. You worked with her.
Yeah, in a way. She says something in kind of a throwaway bit where she's saying you're the Scarlet Witch and you did this and that, and somebody else says something about her being enhanced, because that's the term they used for the thing. But now I think what they're trying to say is, yeah, she got enhanced, but she wasn't given these things. Like she had these powers.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that's going, or
is that what it was?
If they're gonna, like, I don't know how they're going to integrate the X-Men, and for me, that's another thing, like integrating the Fantastic Four into this universe. It seems a little like I don't know. The Fantastic Four seem like they're a foundation, a building block. It's like starting a DCU without a Superman. It can be done, and it could be done well if anyone at Warner's was listening. But I just think that I don't know how they're going to do that. And I know in the grand scheme of things, an entertaining movie will make that all go away anyways,
There's a moment in I forget which episode now, but it's when we first meet Monica Rambeau, when she when she snaps back into which also, when that happened, it took me a good 15-20 seconds to know what the hell was going on.
I can't believe I clued into that so quickly.
Yeah. It was like, whoa, that was
I think
great.
She's the kid from that Captain Marvel movie, which I saw once.
Yeah. When he walks her through the what's the name of the organization now? It's not Shield, but it's
Sword. Yeah.
When he walks her through that, he says something about space exploration. He says something like, yeah, it was kind of hard to get volunteers for blah blah blah, but yeah, we got some folks out there right now doing some shit or whatever. And the thinking might be that's a reference to, the Fantastic Four characters are already out there.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I thought that was kind of interesting. And like I said, as long as the story's told well, I'll probably enjoy it. But I'm
saying, I think with that, to me, I just go, I don't need an origin thing. Just let's pick it up, and then we can flash back to when the powers happen. Like, I don't need another origin thing.
I need to see Krypton blow up again.
Uncle Ben die.
I need to see Uncle Ben and the Wayne shot together. Because I don't quite get it. I'm just not figuring it out.
Can we probably agree that the Wayne's death might be the most overplayed origin of a character, like, in comics history, between not just the books, but between every animated film, TV, and all the movies? Have we not seen this like too many times?
Yeah, like the first time I think I saw it was on the Superpowers show. Not the Super Friends, but when they went to Superpowers, they kind of alluded to it pretty heavily in an episode called Crime Alley. And I think that's probably the first, like, depiction of it. And so I was probably like 14 when I saw that, and I remember going like, oh my god, they're finally showing Batman's parents. And then of course the Burton film, the animated series. I've lost track of how many Thomas and Marthas I've seen die.
Speaking of which, I wanted to tell you this, that you might really dig this. There is a new direct to DVD or streaming Batman animated thing, not the animated series, but a one-off. And I'm gonna get the name wrong now. It's like something of the dragon, or something with the golden dragon.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
It's really good.
I have no way of seeing it because
I
we
think
don't
it's
have video
streaming.
stores.
I think it's streaming. You can
Is
rent
it?
it. I think. I
Oh,
think so.
to see.
But you would dig it, like from the music and the opening credits and the vibe.
Yeah.
It's definitely trying to do something different with those made for DVD
Well, I
type
don't know if
things.
you,
And
I don't know if you saw my Facebook post the other day, but
hmm,
I was going on Tubi, and it said recommended for you, and it was like, I'm not kidding, like 100 kung fu movies. That was it.
they know you. They know you
And it
so
was
well.
like, what are you trying to say, Tubi? Like, I like other things. Maybe I don't like other things. I don't know, but it was just this, like, I'll just go to it right now because it made me laugh. Um, so much at the time because I just was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is all you think of me? Um, I have no idea how to get there now. Yeah, it doesn't, but it was just all kung fu, like hundreds of kung fu movies. And
Well, this is it's a period piece too.
yeah.
So it's like, I think it's like mid 70s, kind of late
Yeah,
70s.
no, I kind of liked that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked everything about it, the concept of it, and I thought, yeah, well, why wouldn't I watch this? But I don't know how to have an opportunity to do so, because of
Yeah.
living in Canada, and
Right.
believe it or not, I'm kind of a Luddite. I know, not
Well,
really
you
up on.
can't be worse than me. There's no. It's not.
Uh,
I don't know if it's
yeah,
possible.
well, yeah, I don't want to really get into that comparison thing either. Like, but I'm a typical dad. I don't, the other day we bought a speaker bar for our television, and I was shocked that I set it up without a single swear.
Oh,
Yeah, I just plugged it in and it worked, and I went, great.
make that a national holiday.
Immediate, yeah, absolutely, hot dogs for everyone.
Celebrated every year.
Yeah, what's the occasion? I set up that without any fight.
It still works.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And
it just broke.
immediately my daughter took it over with Bluetooth, and I had to listen to some pretty heavy metal.
It's funny. I thought of your family. I thought of your daughter the other day. I go to Netflix,
mhm.
and I don't know how this works, but it's showing me. You know how like it actually annoys me. I will mute the TV.
Promos, yeah.
Yes, because I just want to read the description. I don't need a trailer, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
First, it's showing me trailers for stuff that's in English, and the subtitles are on the screen, but the subtitles are in like Sanskrit or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when it's like a Japanese show, you can't understand what anybody's saying because it's in Japanese. There's no English subtitles. And every time I watch a new show, I have to go in and kill the subtitles. But somehow it's set to like, I don't know, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is, like, Swedish or whatever. But I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Who crawled in through my window and messed with my Netflix? I would never set that up. Why is it doing this? And I thought of your daughter tricking me that time.
Oh yeah, making me a child under 13 years old. Yeah.
Setting up the subtitles to mess you up.
Well, she set up the subtitles. She made me a child so that I couldn't watch anything because I was like, people were like, oh, I really enjoyed the second season of Titans. I'm like, I can't find that on Netflix.
She's totally making you insane.
Oh
She's
yeah, and also she
father.
changed my name to Poop Man, which
well,
was
that's
yeah.
To be fair, I mean,
well, yeah,
fair.
no, the shoe fit, but
that was your original birth name that they put aside.
Yeah.
That was your go-to. That was your alternate.
I think I'm named after Brian Keith.
No, you're not.
I am, yeah.
If you find out that's true and you're named after Brian Keith, that would explain a lot of why you ended up
be worse
the way
because
you
I could have been named Mr. French. That
would be amazing because it would be like, well, it's the guy's named after Brian Keith. Of course he knows about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Who was the little doll in that show?
Oh, Mrs. Oh crap. We had one.
Beasley? Was it Beasley?
Mrs. Beasley, yeah.
Mrs. Beasley.
Yeah. I think we had a Viewmaster where they lost Mrs. Beasley. And I remember as a kid, like, I had never seen Family Affair as a kid. So, like, we had a Viewmaster to a television program I was not into or had seen. And it's weird when you get those like artifacts from older siblings. I'm sure you can relate, where you're like,
Sure.
what the hell is this? Um, I remember I was in a cottage with a friend of mine, and he similarly not only had a sister 5 years older than him, but they had the same name as my sister. So
Mm.
we were instant friends. And he was also my next door neighbor. But we were locked in he had a cottage, and I went up one weekend, and it was like raining the entire weekend. And, cottages have like board games with stuff missing.
Sure.
And a TV that gets one channel, and we were sitting there, and I found a Soupy Sales coloring book.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I don't know what a Soupy Sales is.
Wow.
But I think I read every page of that while we listened to like one of those K-Tel like goofy greats with the streak and
yeah.
Yeah,
Mr.
all
Mr.
that
Gods
stuff.
and stuff,
Snoopy
yeah.
versus the Red Baron. So
Yeah.
like I can memorize that record and that Soupy Sales coloring book because I was that bored.
Can I just say that the fact that DiCaprio is listening to the Ballad of the Red Baron or whatever it is when he's in the pool at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, easily one of my favorite moments of the entire movie, that he's sitting there singing that song when all hell breaks loose and she comes through the window. You know what I think of? You just said that about a cabin. It just instantly made me think of my mom had this friend. I think her name was Diane, maybe. I always, growing up, because I have some pictures of me like as a little kid sitting with her, at some thing, whatever little get together it was. And she has probably, still does, has two daughters, and they were older, like they were probably 12. One of them was probably 13 and one was like 16 or whatever. Mm-hmm. But she always reminded me of Gloria Steinem. Like she kind of looked like Gloria Steinem, this
her
friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was divorced, and she probably was the friend that sort of walked my mom through the process when it was, when she started asking those questions at 77 or whatever it was. But she had these two daughters, and one of them I kind of remember them. I'm a kid, I got a bit of a crush on him. Well, do you remember like one of the very 70s thing to me is like denim kits, like there'd be these, you could get them at like a craft store, and it was like make a denim bracelet, sew things on it. She made me a little denim wallet, which would have been my first wallet as a kid. And I thought I was like, Jim Rockford with this thing. Like I got a wallet, but when she gave it to me, it was like, that butterfly thing as a kid where you're just like, I think she's in love with me. This girl is in love with me. Like this is my new. And I remember just being flustered, and it had a strawberry, like a little patch, which was a strawberry on the outside of the little denim wallet. And I carried that thing around till I was in college. No, I carried that thing around for a long
time. To
this day. But it was at some cabin. It was like some cabin up north in Minnesota, and there was fishing involved or whatever. And then she made me this. But I think of those denim kits, like that was a big.
Yeah, crafting and hobby was just so huge back then.
Huge.
I collect old catalogs and toy industry magazines, and they are so littered with that stuff.
What was it?
Massive industry.
What was it though? Like what kicked it off? I remember people collected rocks and rock
tumblers, yeah.
Yeah, but like the whole the stained glass thing and the make your own candles and whatever, like that was a big. Remember the little apple faces that would dry out? Those creepy.
I wish I could tell you why that all exists. But yeah, it's a weird, like almost subculture, I guess, that was very popular in the early 70s, like what happened to latch hooking and
latch hooking. Yeah. Like crochet. Is latch hooking the thing? The picture exists on the back, on the cloth, and then you put the things through it to make a.
Yeah. Like we call it rug hooking here, but I think it's all the same. But yeah, like those industries and macrame. The macrame industry has taken a serious plunge since 1978.
Well, bottles too. Didn't they sell like bottle kits where like you could put
Yeah,
sand in a bottle?
oh yeah. Bottle cutting and all that.
Bottle
Yeah.
cutting.
Yeah.
What? Like what? What is going on? Like all of that stuff, and they just disappeared. It just like went away. Like I feel like Shrinky Dinks kind of came out of that. Like it seemed like like it was kind of crafty and it was different, and you could make little necklaces and you could make little bracelets and you could do the thing, like it sort of came out of that sort of craft world.
Yeah, and it also was a hilarious name.
And it was a hilarious name. Also, rug hooking doesn't
Mm.
mean today what it used to. So be
No,
careful.
no. You don't want to ask for that.
You don't want to ask for rug hooking when you get to the hotel. It's not gonna go well. And
It's also an unusual question to ask when you get to the hotel.
Do you have any rug hooking? Excuse me, sir. Yeah. No. You know what I'm looking for.
I got a fever for some rug hooking, if you know what I mean.
I love all that stuff, and I know you do because I every now and then I see you post something that's like, I'm obviously making this up, but it would be like, Alice got a rug hooking kit or something.
There's a Battlestar Galactica one. That's probably the most famous one. I've actually seen like the finished Cylon rug hooking kit, which is awesome.
Well, you know what? I know we're going off on one of our famous tangents, but the whole
so out of the woods.
The whole poster and marker set, which then became poster markers with a 3D aspect that comes out of the poster, which then became now there's glitter or whatever. Like those things just kind of went away too. Like that was a staple throughout the 70s and early 80s, I think, right? And then just poof.
But
gone.
adult coloring came back.
Adult coloring came back
in a big way at one point. I remember going to a party that the wife had set up, and people were adult coloring, and it was sort of like these weren't my friends, but thinking this is like a fad, I guess. We're doing this now,
So they had
those
a party
poster sets.
Just
No, I think it was just like it was a get together and a hang of different mums and stuff.
Gotcha.
And I went to the husband corner, but
you guys had Light Bright.
Yeah, you guys like hockey? No. Oh.
Light Bright is the definition of a toy that you just go, okay, and now what? Like
Light Bright was really cool for me because I would play like Star Trek computer with it because all computers looked like that on television.
That's right.
So I did have Light Bright had an extra life after I made Bozo the Clown, who I didn't know who he was, and but yeah, Light Bright and I was thinking about Viewmasters a lot today because I've had a big day. That's like something that you show your kids and they like it might as well be a stereopticon.
Yeah, you're literally
look, children, we watched 3D pictures of our favorite television programs as opposed to watching the show.
When the fireplace wasn't going, this is what we did.
Yes.
We looked through bottles, different colors of bottles.
Instead of putting on a DVD of Kung Fu, I can watch one episode in a very truncated form.
But I take my time. It's funny you said Viewmasters. I did my every now and then search for Kenny Everett on eBay.
I'll tell you something about that.
There's Captain Kremen Viewmasters out there somewhere.
Oh, I know there are.
Then I need
and they're in those awesome cards like.
I need to get that.
Just like the Doctor Who. But today I was doing research for Toy Ventures magazine, and by
the way, my favorite magazine of 2020. I don't know if we mentioned that enough.
We did talk about that. And I have a stack of about 100 UK toy publications that are, boy, they're dry as toast, my friend. But falling out of one of those pages was a loose sheet from the Everex Marketing Company. It's a 2-page, like it's front and back, and it's basically the merchandising inquiries for Captain Kremen to the toy industry.
No way.
So it's Captain Kremen, the world's most fabulous man, and then the back page is him and Carla and Dr. Heinrich, and Carla's nipples are full on here, and the ship and I guess the ship's called the Troll One.
The troll one, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just
It's shaped like a cassette player.
it's a merchandise, and then once I'm scanned this, I will give it to you because
Oh my
it's
God.
like I can't believe I've sat on this for so long. So it's like a Thames Television press thing for Kenny Everett that was inserted into a trade. The UK Toy Manufacturers
Yeah.
Association
Oh
would be
my
given
God.
this so they can make Kenny Everett toys that are totally not appropriate for children. I mean, that's a smutty cartoon.
It is. Let's be honest. And they did. Okay, that's genius. I can't wait to
Yeah,
see that. Number
yeah.
one, I'm so glad you found it, and
It's so
thank you.
weird you brought that up because it just fell out of the
That
box
is weird.
today, and I'm like, wow, I got to show Jason this.
That is weird.
Yeah.
But I think they did. I've got some pins. They did pins and necklaces. I've got like 4 or 5 pins and a necklace. They did Viewmaster reels. They did the Bendy, of course, which I'd still like to get boxed someday. But and like a comic book and a record, I think a couple of different records, but that was about it. So apparently the sheet didn't really work, but I love that it was like, this is how popular he was. And this show was a big hit for Thames Television.
There's some comics, isn't there too?
There was a comic book that came out before the show, because it was a character. It was the characters he did on his radio show. And then they put out a comic book, almost like what you call it, I suppose, a graphic novel, like a one-off thing, I think in 77, which is a little, it didn't have the tone that it had once he got to the show, with the animation. And I think I said this before, but I'm pretty sure this is another thing I'd like to find someday, because I've been watching Darkwing Duck, Count Duckula, which I freaking love. And Danger Mouse, the original Danger Mouse, all done by Cosgrove Hall. And I think Cosgrove Hall did the animation for Captain Kremen. So it went from
they have a very I could see that they have a very similar look.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's very exciting. I love that. It's such
I just thought it was so hilarious that this popped out, and it's like, God,
funny.
I can't believe I've been sitting on this for a decade. There was a lot of neat stuff in those mags, but that was the most interesting thing. Yeah, you just mentioned that, and it's just, this has been sitting on my side table for a few hours.
You see, for future historians that want to go back and analyze this conversation, we went from primitive stuff. We went from a coloring book you found in a cabin to my story about a denim wallet, and then primitive crafty stuff from whatever, which led to Viewmaster, which led to me mentioning Captain Kremen Viewmasters, which all of a sudden, ding, 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 you remembered you had this thing you needed to show me for Captain Kremen.
I think we were talking about The Mandalorian originally. Is that what was this?
That's the beauty of this show. You find me a podcast that gives you that kind of value for the price, and I'll eat my hat.
Yeah. So, in summation, WandaVision good.
Yes. Yes. And Captain Kremen's great.
I had no idea I didn't know about White Vision or any of that stuff beforehand, and I still had fun with it. I don't think you need to be big on the comics lore, and in fact, I think a lot of the people who were disappointed in this had expectations based on the comics that, the devil would show up, or the only thing I can say about WandaVision that actually I was excited about is when I was a kid, I had the Treasury edition of the Fantastic Four, and Agatha Harkness was a character in that, one of those. And I think it may have been her first appearance, and she takes on a group of villains that beat the Fantastic Four. And I remember thinking, this character is really cool. I have not read another comic with her in it, but I knew who she was. When it got revealed, I was like, Agatha Harkness, I know who that is. And well, that was it. I didn't have much backstory to it, but it was kind of cool that they referenced a character I actually, it's just like a personal thing. I'm not big on comics, so
but that's a great observation, to which I would say, and I know I'm sure I've said this a bunch of times on different things about different things we've discussed. When it comes to genre stuff, when it comes to, comic books or the history of a certain property or whatever, I feel like if it's done right, it has to tick a bunch of boxes. It has to be true to what it is, but pliable, but sort of bendable or whatever. It has to please the people that know it and not do anything too insanely drastic. It can't be too inside baseball. And then it also has to bring in the people that don't really know this stuff. And I think across the board, Marvel has done a great job with walking that line, with winking a bit and saying to the audience, "Oh, you're going to like this little cameo or this whatever," but also assuming that there's a lot of people that don't know a lot of this stuff, and they're novices, and they're going to bring you along. And that's to me is the brilliance. It's like you've got generations of kids now that this is sort of their Star Wars. I mean, that for most of us.
And hopefully they seek out the original works and enjoy those as well. I think there's a beautiful tribute going on here, and I think they're doing some nice work.
Let me ask you. You just said that you think that thing you had was the first appearance of Agatha?
Yeah.
Do you know what year that book was from, or that story?
Well, I don't know it was Kirby artwork, and it was definitely.
I wondered about, do you remember the witch on Agnes Moorehead that played the witch on Bewitched?
Oh yeah.
Was she Agatha? Was she on Agatha?
And Dora.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Okay, because I was thinking maybe Bewitched came first, and then.
Agatha came out in Fantastic Four 94, which was January 1970, almost a year before I was born. So that would have been, definitely post Bewitched.
Okay.
But I don't know, the character herself really looked.
Well, yeah, her name wasn't. I kept thinking her name was Agatha. I could have just looked
Endora,
it up.
Yeah.
Endora. Okay, that was Endora. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember that issue had a huge impact on me. One that it had Medusa in that issue, and I remember.
Medusa from the
fantastic. Well, from Marvel Comics.
What is it? The Inhumans?
Inhumans. Yeah, she was a bad guy in this for some reason.
Hubba.
Yeah. I always liked the way Kirby drew women, and I have a thing for redheads to this day.
Yeah. And hair that attacks you.
Hair that attacks you. God, it's so hard to meet someone like that.
Such a weird fetish you have, and it's hard. It's hard to meet people.
I'll find her. She exists. But. I just remember that issue had some amazing graphics in it. Like it sounds like a boring issue, but it's actually, you're 5 and you're reading this huge Kirby comic as a kid, and how can it not imprint on you?
Sure.
And I know people that look like, I can't stand looking at Kirby's art, and I don't understand them. Because it isn't anatomically correct always. But it's the energy that dude could put into that stuff. I think we had a Kirby episode, so I don't need to go on here.
We did, and one of the things I think we talked about was that, you're not looking for, straight on portraits here. They don't. What I always say is I look at Michael Shannon and I go, that guy could have been drawn by Kirby.
Yeah.
Why Michael Shannon should be a Kirby character, a specific kind of. Yeah. What's his name?
Well, his work actually has kinetic force to it.
Yes.
And that's hard to do. But yeah, it's one of those things that he could really convey action. He could really tell stories, and there was a world to it. But I think Jack Kirby actually created Wanda and Vision, so that might work as a wrap up.
Vision was always, I think when I think about being a kid, what must have appealed. I think when he spoke, the maybe I'm thinking of C-3PO, but I thought he had yellow background to his bubbles. Like when he said
they did something kind of. I always expected him. It was actually Vision was created by Stan Lee and Roy Thomas.
Okay.
Scarlet Witch, though, probably created by Jack Kirby. I just have to know.
It was that color. I think it was that color scheme. It was that like.
I always thought he looked like Stanley and Jack Kirby created Scarlet Witch. Okay. I always thought it like he is the most Mego-y looking superhero that never got a Mego.
He totally is. He totally is. In
One
fact,
of my favorite things I own.
My brain still thinks that he did. Like,
I know.
I sometimes think that he got a Mego, didn't he? Like,
one of my favorite things I own is I saw it at the Motor City Comic Con about 10 years ago, and I was like, damn, I should buy this. Some guy's mom did homemade Migos for him.
Oh, wow.
And she did Giant Man, and she I think she used, the best fabric. You could tell it was a real labor of love. And there was a Vision and a Giant Man at this show. And then the Vision, I think, the Giant Man was like a 12-inch Spider-Man, and the Vision, I don't know. Anyway, I regretted not buying it, and it came up on eBay about 4 or 5 years ago, and I nabbed it. I bought the Vision. I was like, I was like typing the guy. Were you at Motor City Comic Con? Yeah, that's me.
Wow, and it's what his mom made for him.
It's a homemade Vision action figure, made by a mom from the 70s, and
holy shit,
it's like a love totem. Like you just sit there and go like, this was the coolest mom ever.
Oh my god!
And
she probably
I'm so
made
glad I own it.
denim wallets for kids.
And, denim wallets for
kids. She probably was like super cool. Like, also, Some Guy's Mom is a great name for a band, like a punk band, I think.
I come up with about 6 different great punk band names.
I think Some Guy's Mom is like very good. I can see them topping the bill. Speaking of which, did you notice? I know you're not a big Blade Runner guy.
I'm not.
But did you happen to notice you did?
Well, that's because my wife and I watch every Easter egg explained after WandaVision.
Oh, okay.
Because we were in a pandemic and we can't go anywhere.
I've seen some of those. There's one guy, I didn't watch this one, but I will now that you say it. But it hit the thing and I went, okay, this is, and I'm guessing it's just kind of hinting that we're gonna be out in space soon, or some shit's gonna happen in space or something. Yeah. But there's a guy that does it that I really like, and he's like, I think his name is like Charlie, maybe. He's like, hey everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my 25 Easter eggs under the day. And if you don't like it, before we even do this, make sure you see the episode because it spoils whatever. And then make sure you hit like at the end. So what happened was, and he's got this tone throughout the whole thing that is so like welcoming. And he's just like, he's not rushing too fast. He's not picking things apart. He's just going. So I think that's what that means. I think when she says that, what it means is, and the way he edits it, like just, how the time he must take with these things, to everything he references, he'll get a shot of, from a previous movie or whatever. Like, anyway, I think his name's Charlie. I don't know who he is, but he always says, hey everybody, this is Charlie, and this is my recap of,
The guy I watch, I think, is called Screen Crush. And
is he the guy that's on camera? Is he on
camera? And I'm fine with him. But like, my son was here once and I was watching. He's like, "Oh, I want to punch that dude in the face." And it's like, over what?
Like, what? I think I know the guy. Is the guy he's talking about sort of like, he looks like a little kid almost.
Yeah,
he's got kind of face fuzz.
He looks like a kid who's trying to grow a beard, or like a kid who that's. He's youthful face. The beard doesn't appear. It almost looks like a kid doing a hobo.
I think I know costume. I know what your son is saying. I don't mind. Yeah. I don't mind the guy. I mind that there's no breath. It's just like, and then like the camera pushes in and he makes a funny face, and then we're back to this. It's like, okay, just stop. Everybody just calm down. Let me just hear the thing. Yeah. Like, it's the speed of it. That
was kind of funny. That isn't a regular kind of thing with him. And it was, I was like, why? And he said something, he's always wrong. And it's like, it is theories, and who gives a shit about any of this? But,
punch that guy in the face. That's funny.
Pop culture make me angry. It's like, I just watch it because, like, I still want to do more WandaVision talk, that's a sign of a good show, because I don't do that after anything else.
There's one guy, I'm just gonna say that, I don't want to say, I can't even think of his name, but there's a guy that is so, and I look at there's an image of him with a little tiny image of the thing he's about to talk about, and he used to have shorter hair. Now he's got like shoulder length hair. He's always wearing a leather jacket, really skinny, and now he's got a full beard, and he just uses his hands, just flapping them around. Well, it is literally like everything that's wrong with everything, like every other statement. And then it's like, I guess maybe what they could do if they took my idea, what it should be is, but then the rest of it is just like,
I just want to point out the old man anachronism that we're both just describing shows we don't know the name to.
But isn't that okay though? Because
this is like when my grandmother used to call me in college and say, "Are you watching Kramer?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm watching Kramer." Because that was after Alex and Pat, which means Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune.
There's a lot of YouTube videos. A lot of YouTube videos out there. But I'm saying, the couple times I've watched the guy, not only is it just, I guess they can do that. It's because I guess it means that she can fly now, I guess. But I'm watching, but I go, oh God, these people can't be enjoying this. And then I look at the bottom of the thing, and it's been up for like a day, and he's got like
1 million people have watched this. Yeah.
378,000 views. I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
How can you go through 20 minutes? Everybody?
I don't want to name anybody because that's just mean, but and they're clearly successful. But sometimes, something will come on and you'll go, oh, a video on Logan's Run, and it's some guy doing a slideshow going, Logan's Run was produced in 19, and you're like, who can
I know that guy.
sit through this? And you're like, oh, 1 million people can sit through this.
There was one I saw a little while ago that was, it made me laugh. I'm not making fun of the guy. It just made me laugh internally. And it was basically, this video is going to be about how classic the original Korean film Old Boy is, and how the Spike Lee version of Old Boy is one of the worst remakes ever made. And you're just going, is this like up for debate? Is this
who's in the? I'd rather watch the guy in the pro camp.
Are there
like I would rather?
Are there a shit ton of Brolin Old Boy fans versus the original? Does this really need to be documented in a 30-minute video? Why the other one's better?
I remember a friend of mine was getting really into slacktivism, like when Facebook was new. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I'm against baby abuse was one of the groups he joined. And I was like, well, where's the pro baby abuse lobby? Like, who's on board? And who are you fighting against?
What's your platform? I mean, I'll tell me more about I'm not sure I'm ready to join.
Yeah.
Like, what is your platform? As opposed to.
It seems a bit niche,
Like somebody put up a 30-minute video of all the ways, shot by shot, the original Old Boy is better than the remake. It's like, okay, that's.
I've never seen the remake, but I agree.
Yes, exactly. You don't need to. Like, exactly. It just cracks me up. Like the worst movie ever made. And then he does this thing. You're like, okay, all right. You convinced me. You convinced me.
What's really nice though what's really bad is that when Spike Lee remade Old Boy, all the copies of the original Korean one were taken away.
That's right. That's right. Little known fact. It happened.
That's a movie. It's weird you bring that up. That's a movie I'm like enamored with, but don't need to rewatch anytime soon.
That is the perfect definition of a film that I could talk about, and I can happily say I think everyone should see it. And it's brilliantly done, but I never ever want to sit through it again.
I don't know if I've ever made this joke, but I live for the day, and I've had this experience once where you go to someone's house and they have like the Blu-ray of Requiem for a Dream.
Yes.
And you're like, why?
Yeah. Like, is that your Saturday night go-to?
Do you why would you want to watch that twice? It's great. I get it, but
is that your popcorn movie?
Yeah.
For Saturday night? Yeah.
Honey, I feel pretty good. Let's bring this down.
Yeah, there are people like that out there. You go, why that? Like, and Old Boy's like, I can appreciate it, and I understand why it has the status it does. If you've seen it, it's like it's an experience. It's a punch in the face. Like, you really don't need to see that again, frankly.
Tough. It's a real tough one to watch.
Yeah, that's a fun video. Yeah, the ways that's better than the Josh Brolin one. It's very funny. That just kills me. It just kills me. That just killed me. Like, it's almost like he's sitting at home going, why do people like this new Old Boy?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Did he like? There must have been a voice in his head, or a voice close to him, and it may be somebody who's just, the vinyl guy who's like, actually, I find the Brolins superior. That's the only thing I can think of, is that
I think it's much more economic in its storytelling. All right, that's it. I'm making a video.
Yeah. Damn it.
Damn you.
And 350,000 people saw it.
Exactly.
And if you watch it though, I'd like it now. I got to find that video and see how many downvotes there are, because I think there's two, one from Spike Lee, one from
one from Josh Brolin.
No, but there's also one from that vinyl guy.
Yes. And this was my idea.
Yeah.
I influenced this. Yeah. What's funny about Old Boy? Here's bringing it back around to WandaVision. Guess who else is in Old Boy, the remake?
I don't know, because I'm never going to see it.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, Elizabeth Olsen.
So there you go.
I've always
and which means several years later, they were in the Avengers together. He was Thanos and she was Wanda in Infinity War.
Did you ever find it weird in the Godzilla movie, and I think Age of Ultron came out the same summer, and Elizabeth Olsen and I can't remember the actor. I think he's the guy from Kick-Ass.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was Quicksilver and her husband in that.
Yeah.
I always thought that was weird.
Yeah. I like that guy. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
That's it. Yeah.
I like that dude, man. Some of the choices he's made, and he played John Lennon in Lennon. What was it called? Oh, it's called not About a Boy, but something Nowhere Boy. Not a bad as such Beatle things go. You're never going to get the story right, scripted, of course, whatever.
No.
But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The relationship between John and his mother, that he didn't really have, and then something tragic happened. But he's terrific in it. The Aaron Taylor Johnson, and you're like, oh, he's kick-ass, and he's this thing, and he's this, and he's I like that dude. He's good.
There was a pretty meta moment in WandaVision where she says kick-ass, and of course, both the guys who played Quicksilver,
yes,
have been kick-ass, or were in kick-ass. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yes. See, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Fan service. Oh, fucking hell. Shut up. It's
fun.
fun.
It was just a little nod, a little. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. No. And again, this was going to be a half hour talking about WandaVision. We covered a lot of ground. Again.
20 minutes of it at least is WandaVision.
Can't buy this kind of entertainment.
We can't be reined in.
Can we just say, am I allowed to say, Brian and I are having discussions right now. We're going to adopt a baby polar bear through the World Wildlife. No, we're just keep your ears peeled for some pretty cool news soon about things we're doing. We're just going to keep doing more stuff.
Doing neat things in the future, and more consistent neat things.
Yes. And speaking of, would you like to say a little bit about your issue number 3, which I think you just put to bed, right?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons I really haven't been online. It's not put to bed yet because my partner in all of this.
You just gave it some warm milk. Just
gave it some warm milk. We tend to have this kind of like back and forth creative process, and he's got some input, and I have editors, of course, looking at this, but I think this may be the most packed issue we've ever done. I've put too much in it, in my opinion.
Okay.
And one of the recommendations I got, which I agree with, is we're going to let the next issue kind of breathe. The thing that's exciting to us is issue 4 will actually have distribution to comic stores through Diamond. We'll be in the Diamond catalog very shortly, actually, which is nice. But issue 3 is only available through me right now, and anybody who does wholesale with me. But I did something really scary and risky, and well, we had this wonderful cover artist, Tim Barron. You know Tim.
Yeah, I know
And
Tim. Love
Tim
Hi, Tim.
wanted to be involved, and I was excited because he's amazing. And I let him, pick the topics, like here are all the topics in the magazine, and he chose the Action Man figure Captain Zargon, which is written by the wonderful Tony Roberts, YouTube personality from Analog Toys. Wrote a great article about the history and the development of this character, showing prototypes and that sort of thing. And Tim latched onto that and drew a cover that I can't stop staring at. And then I got the weird idea, like, I want to do an iron-on transfer, but they don't really make iron-on transfers anymore. Like, that kind of thing is over. And I went to China and I found a factory that would do it. And I threw a whole bunch of money at it, and, fingers crossed it would work. And they arrived last week, and man, did it work.
Oh, man.
First try. Oh. It just peeled off like butter, and it was like, and it's gorgeous. It's just like, oh, it's perfect.
Did it have that old school iron-on smell? Like, remember when you go into the shops?
Yeah.
And you got that.
But you know what? It's one of those things that I don't think is going to just fade away after 6 washes. It might last a long time. The technology is so good now.
Yeah.
That it's amazing. And
that's awesome. That's exciting.
It just pops, and because I did too. I found like an old T-shirt, like an undershirt. And my wife said, just test it on that, and that one went amazing. So we're giving away that with while supplies last. I'll have more magazines than I will those iron-ons, but I figure anybody who orders within the next 30 days will get one. And it's just kind of an exciting creative energy.
No, I love it. It reminds me of all the UK mags.
Yes.
In the late 70s.
And I'm still trying to figure out how to do rub-down transfers.
Rub-down transfers, a badge.
You should
do a little badge, like taped to the, because the stuff was always like on the cover, right? Wasn't it like kind of connected to the cover and stuff?
Yeah, it was always kind of taped there, but we don't want to do that because of collectors. But I would love to do rub-down transfers or just something really serial. Like, it's always like a serial prize to me.
Yes, totally.
And we did buttons in the first issue. The second issue we did trading cards because those are always fun. I think we won't go for the boring board game, but that was always my least favorite. But I'm trying to figure out what issue.
I've got so many ideas right now. I got so many ideas for what you could.
Send them my way because
starting with the denim wallet. I think the denim wallet
with the little strawberry on it.
Toy Ventures logo above a strawberry.
Yeah, above a strawberry. And then
might be big.
Everyone will get a crush on Toy Ventures that will haunt them.
So when can we expect this to hit the outside world?
The end of March. Yeah.
End of March.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. We're.
Very exciting.
I think what I'm really looking forward to in issue 4 is that issue 3 I spent a very long time trying to research this company called Lincoln International, which made these monster toys that have haunted me all my life, pun intended. And I had some very good help from some collectors, and then I also managed to find the company's based in New Zealand, and I managed to find New Zealand's one toy historian who's written a book on the industry, and he was just a joy to talk to, collector himself. And
fun.
He gave me a lot of insight. So it still isn't like I spent the entire day looking through those UK magazines, just looking for like one little nugget,
Yeah.
And what I'm really excited about is for issue 4, my big feature will be a toy line that I can phone the creator and just go, what's this? What's that? What's this? And he'll, I've already interviewed other people who worked on it. So I won't have this incredible mystery that I'm trying to solve. I'm just going to be able to it's not take a break because it's still work, but it's just not like, I'm not going to rip my hair out doing it.
Right.
And,
that's a perfect
I'm kind of
schedule.
looking forward to that. Just being able to do a good job and work hard and get some really cool information, but not be like contacting libraries,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and joining groups that I have no business being in and asking if, did your parents work for this company? I'm just happy to be kind of going back and forth with these, like it's like an underhanded throw or an overhanded throw, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to throw it underhand or kick the ball, and that's
Like
kind of
life.
yeah.
Kind of like life. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Perfect
it's a
metaphor.
knockout. It's a gorgeous
Excellent.
issue, and I got to be honest with you, sales have been fantastic. This is growing, and I'm very grateful to everyone who's been sticking around with the Toy Ventures thing. Um, I'd love this to be my full-time gig, and I'm nowhere near close to that, but it is still kind of fun to do that,
Well,
to dream about that. So
I smell some good things on the horizon in many ways.
that was me. Sorry.
Still smell them. But yeah. Good stuff coming. This is great. Very exciting. And this was fun. We'll do, next time we'll do a small one, a little one.
Yeah. Next time we'll do a 10-minute one, and it'll just be 50 minutes of silence.
Well, keep
All
your
right.
eyes and ears peeled, listeners, true believers.
Mostly
We got more stuff coming.
Yeah.
Mostly yours. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
For listening to our mini episode that's an hour and 10 minutes long.
Not my fault.
Yeah, we could almost, if we just go another 20 minutes, Canon will release this as a film.
Frank Cannon?
Frank Cannon. I don't know who that is. Oh, right. It's late. I didn't catch the Cannon reference.
It's late. That's okay.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.